legalization of all drugs across the board in the United States. Alright, so first of all, let's talk about drug laws in the past and in the present right now. And until like the early 1900s, 20th century, I believe the first was in 1911, there were no drug laws at all. In fact, doctors sold drugs like cocaine and heroin as medicine to people without prescriptions. Like, you just go to a doctor and be like, hey, my tooth hurts. They'd be like, here's some cocaine. Cocaine toothache drop, there's 15 cents. And the first law that did anything about that at all was the Harrison Narcotics Act in 1914, which didn't even stop the sale of drugs. It didn't say anything about cocaine at all. Like, cocaine was fine. They didn't care about cocaine. But opium, which was in a lot of toothache medicines and stuff, you had to get a prescription in order to get it. You couldn't just buy heroin anymore. You needed a prescription. So that really helped a lot with drugs. And then the Controlled Substance Act, which is what we have now, is basically across the board. Like, it is for every single drug. There's 5 schedules of drugs, like based on the potential for addiction, potential medicinal usages, and like how harmful it could be to your body. And Schedule 1 drugs are just like, there's no reason for you to be using them except to get high. And then it just progressively gets like safer and safer drugs, and Schedule 5 is like over-the-counter medication. So that's what drug laws are at now, today, in the United States. And so for legalization, one of the biggest factors is the monetary factor, and a lot of money could be made by legalizing drugs because billions of dollars are put into the prosecution, incarceration, and drug task forces, all that kind of stuff for like getting drug users. And if you can see, like, possession, this is the amount of incarcerations for possession of drugs in the United States, and it's gone up drastically from the 80s to the 2000s. These are people that aren't doing anything to anybody except themselves, and there's no reason there should even be a law to keep, like, they're not harming anyone. There's no reason they should be spending money on arresting them. And also, drugs are almost like an exclusive source of revenue for gangs. That's how gang members make money. They sell drugs. And if they were legal, gang members wouldn't be selling drugs. The stores would be selling drugs. And estimated revenue, $5 to $22 million annually from marijuana alone. And that figure is just for the state of Colorado. So if we were to legalize drugs, all drugs, across the board, in every state, we're talking billions. So, in summary, tax drugs. And in Portugal, I'm not sure if any of you knew this, but Portugal is a great model country for legalization because in between 2001 and 2006, they actually decriminalized all drugs. And instead of getting arrested for possession in Portugal, if you're found with any drug, you are, they like look over your record or whatever, and they can choose to recommend you for a rehabilitation clinic if they feel that's necessary, but there is no legal repercussion if you choose not to go. They just say, here's a place you can go if you feel you need help, and that's it. And as you can see, it's been affected because these are the drug use rates in teens in 2001 on the left, and then 2006 on the right, and they went down in almost everything except these 3 over here. And methadone is actually like a drug used in rehabilitation clinics, so that shouldn't that's negligible. And then just a little bit of drugs. So as you can see, the rates of cannabis and ecstasy and cocaine, all these drugs here, went down, and that's even though many people say if you decriminalize drugs, rates will go up. And then Portugal continued, you don't have to read all this, but it basically says more people were admitted to rehabilitation, less people used drugs, and overall it worked well for them. And, alright, and today in the United States, 2 of the most harmful drugs around are already legal, alcohol and tobacco. As you can see, this is a rational assessment scale of how harmful all these drugs are. Got alcohol, number 1, most harm to others, and very harmful to users as well. And drugs such as cannabis and others that are illegal are much below both alcohol, which is right there in the harm scale, and tobacco, which is right there. So, really no reason at all, folks. Alright, so for the future, every drug, we're talking crack, heroin, methamphetamines, all in one drugstore. Like we have a drugstore now for prescriptions and whatnot, but this, you don't need a prescription. You just go and buy your drugs. You should be 21, just like alcohol or any other. It would model like current PA laws. Like right now, state stores for alcohol, it's a government, like all government employees, and they won't sell to anyone who's visibly intoxicated. And if you are, there's laws to make sure to avoid the use of alcohol and stuff. No driving high, bad. And in conclusion, it's a constitutional right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. If a drug user wants to get high and they're not harming anyone else, that's their own personal liberty and they're pursuing their own happiness. That should not be a problem. And that's it. So drugs are good, guys. That's all. Get high.